Hi, it's Maya here with my October TBR. October is the spooky season and there are a lot of great spooky readathons going on. I wanted to do an actual TBR, even though I couldn't possibly do all the readathons that I had my eye on. I really wanted to do Gothtober, Fortnite Frights, Black Halloweenathon, Screamathon, Vampathon, and Black SFF-athon. But I couldn't possibly do all of those, so I chose just two. I really wanted to take part in Screamathon, especially because it is themed around the movie series Scream, but I couldn't fit the books that I want to read into the prompts. I found the prompts to be quite difficult to fulfill, so I went with Gothtober and Fortnite Frights. So let's start with Fortnite Frights, since that is the 2-week-long readathon. It runs from the 18th to the 31st of October, so the last 2 weeks of October, and it is hosted by the Artisan Geek, who I will link in the description. And I chose shorter reads for this, since this is only a 2-week-long readathon. So for the prompts Asian author and translated, I went with Versailles of the Dead by Kumiko Suekane, and this is a manga where Marie Antoinette is on her way to marry the French Dauphin in the French court, but on the way their carriage is attacked by zombies and everyone dies except for Marie's twin brother, Albert, and Albert takes the place of Marie Antoinette and pretends to be her in the French court. Here's a peek at the art. Then for the prompt Indigenous author, I chose Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones, which I have just bought as an ebook. It's been on my wishlist for a while. It's a horror novella. I think it's under 100 pages if I'm not mistaken. And I haven't forgotten what it's about except ghosts, so let's read a bit. Walking through his own house at night, a 12-year-old thinks he sees another person stepping through a doorway. Instead of the people who could be there, his mother or his brother, the figure reminds him of his long-gone father, who died mysteriously before his family left the reservation. When he follows it, he discovers his house is bigger and deeper than he knew. Then for the prompt written before 1960, I chose The Great God Pan by Arthur Machen, and this is a horror classic that I wanted to check out for a while. It's also a novella. I believe it centers around a scientist who wants to peek through the veil into another world or a world of magic or something like that, and he makes experiments on this girl. Then for the prompts horror comic and Black or African author, I'm going with Victor Laval's Destroyer by Victor Laval and Dietrich Smith, which I own digitally, and it's a modern retelling of Frankenstein. For the prompt to read a short story, I'm going to read a short story from In a Glass Darkly by Sheridan Le Fanu, probably The Familiar. I have no idea what that is about, but I haven't read that before, so maybe that one. For the prompt to read a gothic novel, I'm going to read Beloved by Toni Morrison, which takes place in this house where the main character's daughter has died, and I think the daughter haunts the house, and it also goes through the main character's history. This is also a shorter novel, so I think I can do it in that 2 weeks. Then there's the prompt Undead Character, and that will be either the zombies in the Versailles of the Dead or the Frankenstein monster creature from Victor Laval's Destroyer. And finally, if I don't finish Harrow the Ninth, which I'm currently reading, by the time that the last 2 weeks of October come around, I'm not that far into it and I read this quite slowly, even though I enjoy it. If I don't finish it by the time the readathon comes around, I'll get LGBTQ plus author prompt from this. So that was Fortnite Frights, and I didn't fulfill the challenges for green cover, disabled character or author, mainland European author, a poem, dark fantasy, and Latinx author. So let's now move on to what I'm going to read for Gothtober, which takes part during the whole month of October. And I saw the announcement video from co-host Olivia's Catastrophe, but there are other hosts as well, and I will link the information in the description. So for the prompt to read a book from a Black, Indigenous, or author of color, I'm going to read Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. I have this out from the library. It's a young adult book about this world or this city where monsters have been eradicated, or have they? And the main character is Jam, and then there's Pet, who's some sort of creature who arrives to her life to hunt monsters, maybe? I don't know, but everyone has been saying good things about it. It's also very short. The reason I'm not going to add this to Fortnite Frights is because it needs to go to the library before that readathon begins. This might also fulfill the prompt for disability representation. I believe the main character has selective mutism. Then for the prompt to read a book set in a foreign country, so not a country that you currently reside in, I'm going to go with The Angel of the Crows by Catherine Addison, which I believe I will be buddy reading with Reija from the Bookfinch, and this takes place in an alternative London. This I don't know a lot about, except that it's a take on Sherlock Holmes, so the main character as sort of Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson reimaginings, and there's vampires, werewolves, angels, and apparently Jack the Ripper also. I actually don't care about Jack the Ripper stories, but I don't think that's the main part, and also I really like Catherine Addison's The Goblin Emperor, as you may know. Then for the prompts to read a book with bones on the cover, which this fulfills beautifully, and read a book with a female protagonist, and read an LGBTQ plus own voices book, I'm going with Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, and this is of course the science fantasy Necromancers in Space, this time focusing on Harrow, who was my favorite character in the first book. Like I said before, I'm currently reading this and I'm gonna finish it during October. So I think those were all the new books that you haven't seen that I'm gonna read for October, and then I'm gonna use the same books as in Fortnight Frights for Red on the cover or the title. So Versailles of the Dead has Red on the cover. For a modern retelling of a gothic classic, I'm of course gonna go with Victor Laval's Destroyer. Then there's the prompt to watch a favorite vampire movie or a vampire TV series episode. And I'm probably gonna watch an episode of 2 of Buffy. I really wanna watch Hush because that's my favorite episode, but that one doesn't really feature vampires heavily. There's a different monster of the week. So I might watch another episode as well that has more vampires in it. My main light just ran out of batteries, so bear with me with this lighting until the end of the video. So where was I? My prompts that I didn't fulfill for October were On Own TBR Longest, Grey Morality, which some of these books might fulfill, but I will know after I've read them. Lies, Liar, or Lying in the title, or a main character who lies. And then Dark Academia. I also have 2 other books that I really want to read during October because they are review copies that come out in October. The first of those is Frankie and the Creepy Cute Critters by Caitlin Rose Boyle, and this is a middle grade comic. It's actually sort of spooky, or at least the cover has that vibe, but it didn't fit into any of the prompts, so I couldn't fit it into the readathons. But in this one, Frankie starts a new school and apparently there's kids there who think she's creepy. And I asked to review this because I really liked Jonesy, which Caitlin Rose Boyle was a part of the creative team in. She did the art and I think she was like a co-creator. But anyway, that one comes out in mid-Octoberish, and I really want to read it. I bet it'll be fun. And then the other book is Phoenix Extravagant by Yoon Ha Lee, which is Yoon Ha Lee's a fantasy book that comes out in late October. And I can't believe that I haven't read it yet because I've had the review copy for a while, but for some reason I haven't been able to get to it, and now would be the final time. I didn't add that to my TBRs because it isn't spooky as such. So this is my October TBR. I forgot to mention, but Piranesi by Susanna Clark is on its way to me. I pre-ordered it, and books take a while to get to Finland, so it should be arriving any day now. And when it does, I'm just gonna throw everything else away and read that. And I also ordered another book. I ordered the horror novella Yellow Jessamine by Caitlin Starling, who wrote The Luminous Dead, which I still haven't read even though I own the ebook. But that one is also on its way to me. It would also fit the spooky readathons being a horror novella. I can't remember right now what it's about, but it had a beautiful cover. Maybe I'll put it here. Now that should be everything that I want to read in October. Let me know if you are taking part in any spooky readathons or if you like to read spooky books in October. And that's all from me for now. I'll see you in my next video.